Temperatures are turning and your lawn is about to wake up, but are you ready for the lawn season ahead? We're going to cover what cool season grasses are, why timing is really critical for your area, and ultimately the checklist that you can have for success in order to get ready for your lawn this year. Now, the $1,000,000 question is, when does my lawn season start in my local area? And that will depend. It's about a 3-month time range depending on where you live. The start of this season might be different if you live in the Northeast, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, if you live down south, or in the Midwest. All just depends on when your local weather patterns shift for the seasons. And there's one thing that you should be looking out for, and it's the temperature. Not in the air, but down in the soil. And there's a couple different ways that we can measure that. The easiest to get your local environment and the accuracy is just go get a meat thermometer and stick it down into the ground. That way you would get localized temperature ratings and try to keep a 5-day average. But the cool part about this is that there is a system that does that for you, and it's free. It's called Greencast Online. The main metric that you're looking for is the 5-day average. You're looking for 50 to 55 degree mark. That's going to be the start of your season and when things really start to kick off. One of the first things that I do every year when your lawn is dry enough and not soggy is actually get outside and actually do an assessment. So that's checking out for winter damage that maybe occurred during snowfall, any debris that you need to be picking up that just landed in your yard over the winter, and just assess generally where your priorities are going to lie for this upcoming lawn season so you can get a plan together. Most commonly, what you're going to see is debris and matted down areas that just need more airflow, which gets us into our next topic. Some areas might be impacted with this thing called snow mold. Yes, snow mold is a real thing, and it's okay if you haven't heard of it. A lot of haven't, but I guarantee that you have seen it in your yard right when the seasons turn. And it looks like a very light, fuzzy patch of something that's growing inside of your yard. And generally speaking, it's nothing to fret too much about. This was my yard just a couple years ago, right after all of the snow melt. Well, we got hit very hard with snow mold, and this is it. Just a month or two afterwards, it does grow out, and generally speaking, it's not something that you should freak out about too much. In most cases, unless really severe, it will grow out, and you might be left with a couple bare patches that will eventually grow in depending on the grass type that you do have. Otherwise, you can overseed and fill those bare patches in the springtime or in the fall, whenever you choose to do so. Speaking of putting seed down and filling in bare patches, it's important to talk about this, a fork in the road, and it's a decision you have to make based upon that general assessment that you have in your yard coming from winter going into spring. You need to prioritize where your problem areas are. Do you have bare patches and you need to seed? Or are you going to be focused more on weed? The reason I bring this up is because a common product that is part of a Step 1 program is called a crabgrass preventer, otherwise known as a pre-emergent. And while that helps control the newly germinated weed seeds underground before you can see them above ground, it will also impact the ability to grow new grass seed because it doesn't actually know the difference. So if you use a pre-emergent while also putting grass seed down, you're going to be left with really nothing that happened. No weeds or new grass, left with just a bare patch. So it's a fork in the road. You kind of have to decide which way you want to go. Do I want to tackle the weeds, or do I want to fill in bare patches? You just can't necessarily do those at the same time with the traditional pre-emergent. So you've chosen the route of weed control and prevention this year, and you want to put down a pre-emergent in the springtime. One important checkpoint to watch out for is that soil temperature hitting that 50 to 55 degree mark. You're going to want to make sure to have that Step 1 application, that crabgrass preventer or pre-emergent down and watered into your soil in order for that to actually be effective. Pre-emergents work like this. It effectively creates a vapor barrier around a newly germinated weed seed when those soil temperatures reach that mark, and preventing it from growing any further. One drawback to this is it also prevents grass seed from doing that. Doesn't know the difference. So just be extra cautious on doing that, and be sure to do your research. I've got multiple videos on that, both on short form and long form, to help you make that right decision, as well in all of my guides. Pre-emergents sound great, prevents weeds, all of that, but there are some cons. If you've done a new renovation project, maybe last fall or within the past 12 months, something to consider is pre-emergents have been proven to prune the roots a little bit, where you might not want to do a full application. Might want to do what's called a split application of a pre-emergent, one half application right before temperatures hit that 50 to 55 degree mark, and another one 4 to 6 to 8 weeks down the line. Again, always recommend reading the product labels to best understand what's going to be best for you and what is going to be best for your applications. Maybe you don't have a weed problem in your lawn and you want to thicken it up and do some seeding projects. There are some things to consider when seeding in the spring. I've got a whole bunch of different videos on this topic. I just want to have you set yourself up with the positive expectations or the more realistic expectations to understand the risks going into a spring seeding project versus maybe holding off and doing a full renovation or a partial renovation over seeding project the fall time for cool season and transition zone lawns. More on that in another video. My biggest piece of advice when selecting grass seed is not all grass seed is the same, and you want to invest your money here. Don't go buy the cheap stuff at the big box store. I have my entire guide that's free on all of my recommendations for the cool season and transition zone, using cool season grasses, what grass is best for me, to pair the best grass seed to you, your local environment, that also pairs with your lifestyle. Go check it out, I've got it linked down below. And lastly, the biggest thing that I get asked is, what is the best fertilizer for my lawn? And the answer is, again, unique to you, just like it is to your location. Every lawn is different. Every lawn is a different location, and every lawn's soil that lives underneath there has different needs and deficiencies. The only way that you're really gonna know the best fertilizer to apply to your lawn is by conducting a soil test if you have not already, sending it into a lab and understanding exactly the nutrients that you need to get that further direction. I compare this to trying to drive down the highway blindfolded without a speedometer and trying to go the speed limit. It's virtually impossible. It's a small investment that will save you money, save you time, and ultimately get the results that you're looking for in your lawn this summer. I have some tools and resources linked down below to where you can find your soil tests. Otherwise, a great resource is local extensions at your local universities or counties. A lot of them perform soil tests that are in your neck of the woods that can actually talk to you and talk to a live human being. Good way to support local as well. So the pre-spring lawn care checklist, outside of getting equipment and your irrigation turned on, those are some things that I do every single year. I'm gonna go more in depth on these in future videos in terms of the nuances of all of these different topics, but be sure to like, comment any questions that you have, and subscribe for more DIY tips around the yard, and download my free guide, What Grass is Best for Me, linked down below. As for me, I'm Ope. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.